Welcome everybody to another episode of ETE Top 100 Matches. I am just one of those, Marcus, the grand finale, aka one half of the Kings of the Ropes. You see that little dive motion I do, man? That's a new thing. I'm just gonna be diving everywhere.
Diving. Hey, how about that dive?
How about that dive? Yep. And I'm joined by not one, not two, but all three faces of Jamal. Jamal, how are you doing this afternoon, evening, good morning, whenever someone's watching this? I don't know. How you doing?
It's the afternoon to me, and I'm tired of people talking shit about women's wrestling. We're gonna flip the script and talk about some women's wrestling today. Something that put these two women on the map, except for Thunder Rosa. She fell off after this, I guess.
Yeah. So we're talking about Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, St. Patrick's Day Slam, AEW Dynamite from November 3rd, 2021. I had to look at my notes because I forgot the date. So for those who don't know, this was the match that put Britt Baker, and I will say it did put Thunder Rosa on the map, but it also was probably the peak of women's wrestling in AEW. This is
in AEW, okay.
In AEW. Because this ended up being the main event of a Dynamite during a pandemic where women only got one segment of show, and it was just not featured. Britt Baker was a coming up star. Thunder Rosa had just come from the n.w.a. and doing some MMA stuff. And she's entered the scene. They've had matches before, but nothing came to this point where it was no rules, lights out, anything goes. And I can tell you, violence unfolded in this case. Now, this might be the most recent match we covered on this show, but man, does it feel like a long time ago. Jamal, what are your thoughts on this match going into it and coming out of it?
Well, I think that this match had a lot of character to it, right? And the reason why I had a lot of character to it is because these two motherfuckers just don't like each other for real. They for real don't like each other.
Yes, because at the same time it is going on, and this more came out later after the match. So there's a game in AEW. There's either the Britt Baker camp, and then there's the everybody else camp. And if you weren't cool with the Britt Baker camp or whatever, the Tony side, you weren't getting on TV. We saw this at the time with Big Swole or I'm trying to think of the other people. I guess
there's Nyla Rose, Rio, freaking Eva Lise wasn't getting TV time. Diamante wasn't getting TV time. Red Velvet, freaking all these people that we know in AEW now. Sky Blues, the Julia Hart before she was the Black Heart.
Yeah, she was just a cheerleader.
This is where Lexus
even before Jay Cargill, I think, even debuted.
Yeah.
This is even before then. This is you had women in their company, and you know what? They were still building the roster, and we gave them a lot of they just don't have the talent yet. They're a young company. Yeah. You gave them a pass for a lot of this, and it was okay, they just don't have the right women there, per se, where they were dependent on Riho and Nyla Rose. Sheila was just coming up at this point and getting her name. They didn't really have Sarita Deeb yet. It was really early stages.
There was a weird little get together between n.w.a. and AEW where we're using the n.w.a. world titles as things. What I'm saying?
It was really young. It was a really young AEW where
Thunder Rosa was the n.w.a. Women's Champion at the time too.
Yeah, it's really interesting where we were at this time, where you're just going I'm not sure where we are if they're going to improve this division, but it was all about as soon as they get the talent, I'm sure they're going to feature women more, and the only person they were featuring was pretty much Britt. She had her own talk show or something that lasted a week or so.
She was friends with Tony Schiavone for some reason.
Yeah. Like she was really the only one with like any type of character or development. And then you had again, like you said, Thunder Rosa coming up, full intensity, going in there like I'm gonna kill you and all that, having matches. And I didn't know what to take for this match. When it was announced, I was like, okay, lights out match, whatever. Just don't die, because I felt like the way with experience. And then you get to the match, and it's as physical, as dangerous as you think it's gonna be, but it's good. It's really good. Like it really catch you from the beginning, going like, oh, okay, they're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna do this. Oh, okay, there's blood everywhere. Jesus Christ.
I didn't expect to see as much color as there was in this match, especially for Britt Baker to, bleed as profusely as she did. This basically made her character even more than what it was at that time. Like, everybody knew Britt Baker, and she was dating Adam, and she is dating Adam Cole, and she's a dentist, and she's the D.M.D, and
she's from
all
Pittsburgh.
this stuff. This was before the pillars was even being talked about. Like, this made her a pillar of AEW, if she is still considered a pillar of AEW.
In this match, you get the I would like to call the Steve Austin Becky Lynch moment of someone who benefited from bleeding and looks really cool doing it, where she was completely covered in blood in her teeth, dripping out, and she has like the smile on her face. This eventually became a t-shirt that was very popular. Better than the other one where she has the black eye.
Controversial shirt.
Not that shirt. This is the less controversial, where she's covered and she looks like I want to say Gene Simmons and Kiss or something, or one of these old bands. And it's like, oh, this is a dope ass. And I think it says Britt on top. And it was like, this is the origin of like Britt Baker being a main character in the AEW universe. And I was just shocked though. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a women's match this physical where they just went all out before. Like, this was insane.
Like, I've seen women's matches go crazy because, like, I watch a lot of pro wrestling. I watch a lot of Stardom, Shimmer, Shine. I've seen Mercedes Martinez and LA Rose go at it for fucking 30 minutes and beat the hell out of each other. I've seen Lufisto featured in death matches on CZW. I've seen, like, so many different women do many crazy thing, but for two women to do it on national television for free.
For $3.99 in front of nobody.
In front of no one. In front of literally almost no one.
Just the wrestlers.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. And it was so unexpected. And they did tacks, they did tables, they did ladders, they had everything going on. This was the alternative, I believe, people were looking for with AEW and WWE, because you will never, and I repeat, and I'm going to say this long term, never get a match like this in WWE. You may get a physical match or whatnot. They may bring out kendo sticks, they may go through tables, but the blood and the physicality and the lack of safety, I guess.
The rawness, no pun intended, WWE, but the rawness that these women showed on Dynamite, it really exploded the scene.
Yeah. And I thought, when this happened, I can't recall, but I could say I was like, I don't know if I was a fan of all of the violence, and I was like, I don't know if these women are prepared, the safety for it. But when you throw all that out the window and say, fuck it, they lived, you're like, oh damn, they put on a really good match, told a compelling story, and I was at the end of the day, you just go, wow, are we going to do this again?
For those that want to know any type of context of how this match turned out, go ahead and go watch Swerve versus Hangman, when Hangman is drinking the blood of Swerve. It's literally like that, except without the drinking of the blood.
Yeah. This is more of, keep your blood away from me. I hate your guts. I hate everything you do. So the history between these two, gets out of control after this, where there is this rivalry. There's Thunder Rosa hiding behind toilets from Jamie Hayter and stuff like that, and all the backstage politics. They showed us in the documentary TV show they had. I think it's called AW Access. I forget the name. Of like them not getting along and whatnot, and it has suffered. I believe it has hurt Thunder Rosa's career within AEW, not because of this match disbelief this happened. It's just the hatred that their rivalry. It's basically Sean and Brett at the time, and they could have just worked together and it could have drew more money out of this. It would have been fine, but they just really couldn't stand each other. It was just like, I hate you.
It's very unfortunate that, like, grown people can't do business because of whatever it is. It could have been jealousy. It could have been your stepping toes on my company, and it's like, this is a baby ass company. It could be anybody's company. Who died and made you the leader of the division, or who, like, who made you, like,
Yeah.
the person that you think you are. But it has been known throughout Thunder Rosa's career, because there's a lot of people that have angst against Thunder Rosa. This happened in the NWA locker room. This happened in Mexican locker room. This happened in a whole bunch of other different entities. Some people just really don't jack Thunder Rosa. They just don't. Like, maybe she rubs people the wrong way. She is Tex-Mex, so, like, she is a MMA fighter, so that might have something to do with that too, because, like, she actually legit fights MMA as well. Is she any good?
AEW, stop adding MMA fighters to your roster. See you, fuck.
I mean, like, it just becomes a thing. I mean, like, let's look at Lola Vice, for example. Lola Vice is a legit, like, she fought in the octagon. She can whoop somebody's ass. But now that she's transitioned to wrestling, see, Lola Vice is a perfect example of what Thunder Rosa should have been, right?
I'm trying to see where you're going. I thought you were still going.
A Latina that is a legit act, like, legit shoot fighter type deal, but, like, can go in the ring and then has, like, the charisma to build money and make stories for pro wrestling. Thunder Rosa did it first, but Lola Vice is going to do it better.
Yeah, and in Thunder Rosa's argument of, she wanted like, I think it all came down to basically her winning the AEW Women's title,
Which she did.
and yeah, what she did after she went on to win this after, and her not wanting to drop the title to, I believe it may have been Hayter at the time, and or not even her just not wanting to drop the title, but her getting an injury to her back and not being able to compete for an X amount of time. And we don't know the legitimacy of the injury. People are questioning it. Oh, she's faking it. She doesn't want to do this, do that. And then you end up with Toni Storm as the interim champion. And this is years down the line. This is about a year after this. And, they just make Toni Storm the champion because Thunder Rosa will come back. They end up just saying she's going to be on Collision. She doesn't actually appear on there. She eventually comes back within this year, or last year, the end of last year, 2023. And there's nothing there really after. It's like, it seems like all of this build up to this women's division seemed to halt at that moment where Thunder Rosa became champion, and everything seems to be like, you know what? Tony Khan went, I'm not doing anything with women ever again. I'm done. I'm done with all the catty shit. I'm not done
Too
with
toxic. Too toxic.
At the same time, he's bringing in CM Punk. I'm going to deal with him anymore. So it shows there needs to be some type of leadership to nip this in the bud and just end it right away.
Out of this match, out of the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match, I think that Britt Baker got more out of this match than Thunder Rosa did, because Thunder Rosa is getting the Tessa Blanchard treatment right now, and I think it's unjust.
I don't know if it's that much. I don't know if he has Tessa.
I think it's unjust. I think it's a little unjust because she does great work in the ring, but it's outside the ring that's fucking ruining it for everyone else. With Britt Baker, it's like, okay, you're basically the Charlotte Flair of AEW, and you're not even on her level type shit. So we need somebody that's on her level.
But we both clearly believe Britt was the person that came out of this on top. Thunder Rosa has been struggling with her career around since this. She became champion, but then lost. Blah 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 blah. Went over that backstory. But
Politics will do you every time.
yeah, and I think that you know what, we need to revisit both of these women and bring them both back. I don't know what the situation is. Maybe they're back by the time this airs, but hopefully we can get to start again. Maybe even start back this rivalry again and just be like, let bygones be bygones. Let's make lots of money. Let's build on this part of this real hate. Let's have a live in-ring segment of her talking about you helped me back these years and trying to keep me from coming back on TV.
You
And then
ran
Britt
away.
going like, you're such a fucking no good motherfucker. Like stuff like that. I hate you and you are over there. You don't have to do like, oh, you didn't lay down for anybody or you want to drop the belt, but just say I just fucking hate you and all that, and then sell it, and then we can run this back, and as just a regular segment, and you can still have Toni Storm doing whatever she's doing and feuding with whoever she's feuding with, and this could just be another side story. It's okay to have side stories.
Do what CM Punk and Seth Rollins are doing because that shit is working.
Yeah, we're around each other. I don't like you, and as he said, I hate you with every fiber of my being. But if you come for this world title, I will stomp you out of this company. Essentially, what he said. That's what. But with that being said, tune in to the Mid-Card Best podcast for more in-depth discussion on women's wrestling and all wrestling in general that spans the globe from time, space, and current wrestling of today. You can find me every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday here on this channel, and maybe even in a short randomly here and there. But I will be here. So tune in to all these shows.
Jamal, share, and subscribe to everything that we mentioned here. Go listen to the Mid-Card Mess podcast. I'm concurrently working on a whole bunch of different projects. I will be releasing everything from the Royal Rumble history to I'm still finishing. I just finished the G1 Climax joint that I did last year. I just finished that thing. So
there is a lot. There's a lot.
There's a lot to discuss. I do have the history of WrestleMania. We are in WrestleMania season, so go ahead and listen to that. Yeah, man. Like there's just so much that I talk about on the Mid-Card Mess podcast. So go ahead and peep that out. Like, share, and subscribe to the King of the Ropes, and join the Lumber Chat every time that you're here. Dang. Yeah.
Get that's the conversation going to. What are your thoughts on Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker? Not only just the match, but them as wrestlers in general. Please leave your comments below. Let's discuss. Let's go into a big, deep discussion on this. Let's figure it out. Maybe if we're loud enough on social media, Tony would actually pay attention to us, because that's the only thing he looks at is his show and his social media, and because he doesn't look at anything else.
The Sharpshooters said that I need to talk about more women's matches.
Fuck you. What's their cage match score? How dare you?
Oh man.
But yeah, tune in every week. We'll see you guys later for our next Top 100 episode, or even a regular episode. Who knows? We may just throw something out. Who knows what happens in the wrestling world that may have us come back and be like, yo, we need to talk about this real quick. So stay tuned for all the stuff on this channel. Peace out.